He thought it was just another dead battery. But what she whispered through tears changed the course of his life forever. Derrick Cole was locking up his auto shop late one Friday night when the shop phone rang. No one ever called that line past 8 p.m., especially not in a sleepy Alabama town like Brookside. He almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. "Cole's garage," he said, tired. There was silence. Then a shaky voice whispered, "My car broke down." "It's dark. I'm near the old gas station on Route 9. Please, I don't feel safe." Derrick heard panic behind the calm. He grabbed his keys and toolbox without another word. When he pulled up, her car was pulled over on the shoulder, hazard lights blinking weakly. A woman in a beige coat stood beside it, arms wrapped tightly around herself, her heels digging into gravel. Derrick stepped out slowly. "Ma'am? I'm Derrick. You called?" She nodded, and as he got closer, he saw the tears she had been trying to hide. Her makeup was perfect, but her hands were trembling. "I didn't know who else to call," she said quietly. "My driver just left me here." "Driver?" he asked, confused. "I'll explain," she said. "Please, can we just sit in your truck for a minute?" Derrick wasn't sure what he was getting into, but something in her voice told him this was bigger than car trouble. He unlocked the passenger side and nodded. As she sat inside, hugging herself, she looked at him with wide, guarded eyes and said something he didn't see coming. "My name's Callie Monroe, and my father owns Monroe Enterprises." Derrick blinked. Everyone in the county knew that name. The Monroes were billionaires. And Callie, the only daughter, had just fled something and didn't want anyone to know where she was. Derrick sat in the driver's seat, stunned. Callie Monroe, the heiress with her face on magazine covers and charity gala flyers, was now sitting in his dusty old truck, breathing like she was about to pass out. "I know what you're thinking," she said, voice tight. "I don't belong out here. And you're right. I don't." "I'm not judging," Derrick said gently. "But why are you out here? Alone?" She looked out the window, silent for a moment. Then, "My engagement party was tonight." Hundreds of people, press everywhere, my father beaming like he just bought another company. But I found out something about my fiancé. And my dad knew. He knew the kind of man I was marrying, and he pushed me toward it anyway. Derrick leaned back, processing. She continued, voice cracking. "He cheated. With someone on our staff. And when I confronted my dad, he said, 'That's life, Callie. Men like him don't stay loyal. They build empires.'" Tears slid down her cheek, but she didn't bother wiping them. "So I ran," she said. "Grabbed a random car from the estate's back garage and drove until the engine gave out. And I didn't know who to call. I Googled local garages. Yours was the only one still open." Derrick looked at her for a long second. "So, what now?" She turned toward him, eyes red but calm. "I don't want to go back. Not yet. I need time to think. I don't trust anyone I know." Derrick didn't say anything. He could have called the news, could have called her father. But something about the way she looked, like a bird too tired to fly, stopped him. "You got somewhere to stay?" he asked finally. "No," she said softly. "And I don't have my wallet. I left everything." He paused, then said, "I got an extra room over my garage. Ain't fancy, but it's warm and clean. You can crash there tonight." Callie blinked at him. "You'd trust me like that?" He shrugged. "You trusted me first." She smiled faintly for the first time all night. As Derrick drove her back to his place, neither of them noticed the sleek black car parked 100 feet back, watching them. Someone had followed her. The next morning, Derrick was already under a lifted pickup truck, when he heard soft footsteps on the gravel. Callie stood at the edge of the garage in one of his old flannel shirts and jeans that didn't quite fit. Her perfect hair was tied back, messily. No makeup, no heels, just a quiet girl trying to hold herself together. "I made coffee," she said. "Hope that's okay?" He smiled, wiping grease from his hands. "You know how to work a coffee maker?" She smirked. "Turns out I'm not completely useless." They sat on 2 overturned crates, sipping coffee in silence. There was no talk of money or headlines, just the hum of the garage, the smell of oil, and a peace Callie hadn't felt in years. "I don't want to be her anymore," she finally said. "The girl who smiles at cameras and lets men decide her future." "You don't have to be," Derrick said simply. But before she could answer, his phone buzzed. A private number. He answered, wiping his hands. "Cole's garage." A calm, cold voice spoke. "We're looking for a missing woman. You may be harboring her. Callie Monroe." Derrick glanced at her. She'd gone pale. "Who is this?" he asked. "Let's just say someone very powerful is concerned for her safety. If she's there, tell her to come home quietly. No police, no press. But if she stays gone much longer, things get complicated." The line went dead. Derrick set the phone down slowly. Callie's eyes were full of panic. "Was that my father's people?" "I think so," he said. She stood quickly. "I have to go. I can't drag you into this. If they think I'm hiding—" "You're not hiding," he said firmly. "You're thinking, breathing. That's not a crime." She looked at him, torn. "I don't scare easy," Derrick added, "and I've got nothing they can take." But she shook her head. "They don't need to take anything. They just destroy." That afternoon, Derrick drove her out to the far edge of town, to a friend's place. Quiet, no questions, off the radar. Before she got out, she turned to him and said, "I don't know why you're helping me. But no one's ever done this, not without expecting something in return." He just looked at her and said, "Maybe you've just been around the wrong people." She smiled, held his gaze a second longer, then got out. But as the sun set, someone else arrived at Derrick's garage. A man in a suit, sunglasses, and a car worth more than the building. He didn't knock. He walked in and said, "Let's make this simple. Where is she?" Derrick stood still. "Gone." The man stepped closer, calm but cold. "Tell her this. If she doesn't come back, she won't be the one who pays the price." Then he dropped a photo on the floor. It was of Derrick, and someone he hadn't seen in years. His younger brother. Derrick's blood ran cold as he picked up the photo. It was old, probably taken in Louisiana years ago. His brother, Jordan, stood outside a rehab clinic, mid-smile, looking healthier than Derrick had remembered. But the message was clear. They knew everything. He clenched the photo in his fist. "You threatening my family now?" The man straightened his tie casually. "Not a threat, just a reminder. People disappear every day when they get involved in things above their paycheck." Derrick didn't flinch. "Then maybe you should disappear before I forget I'm a decent man." The man smiled coldly and turned to leave. "Tell her the clock's ticking." That night, Derrick sat in his truck for hours, parked near the ridge overlooking town. He hadn't told Callie about the visit yet. He didn't want to scare her worse. But he also knew this wasn't just about a runaway daughter or a wedding scandal. There was something deeper her father was hiding. And now it involved him. The next morning, Callie called. Her voice shook. "They found me." Derrick was already grabbing his keys. "Are you okay?" "I ran. I'm hiding behind a bait shop off Miller Creek Road. Please, stay where you are," he said. "I'm coming." When he found her, she was crouched behind a dumpster, coat torn, hands scraped. But her eyes were wild, full of something new. Fear, yes, but also purpose. "I can't run anymore," she whispered as he helped her into the truck. "I have to end this." "End what?" Derrick asked. "My father isn't protecting our family name," she said. "He's covering up a deal he made with Nathan, my ex. It wasn't just marriage, it was a merger. Billions. And when I found out about his real past, about what Nathan did to someone years ago, my father said I'd ruin everything if I told." Derrick tightened his grip on the wheel. "So they're silencing you." "Or worse," she said. "They've done it before." He didn't ask how she knew. Her eyes said enough. They drove in silence for a while. Then she turned to him and asked, "Do you believe in justice, Derrick?" He looked over at her. "Number, I believe in fighting for it." She nodded, holding back tears. "Then I need you." They pulled up outside his garage again, headlights off. But as they stepped out of the truck, Derrick froze. The garage door was half open, and inside, every single tool was gone, cleaned out, his world stripped. Callie gasped. "They sent a message." But Derrick didn't flinch. He walked to the door, looked around, and said quietly, "Good. Now they know I'm not backing down." And just then, his phone buzzed. A blocked number, one text. She speaks, he vanishes. Callie saw it, too. And in that moment, they both realized this wasn't about silence anymore. It was war.